Greetings. This is Charles Darwin, and I'm here to tell you the story of the two gavels. Now this gavel is one that we can be proud of. This one is the President's Gavel of the Oklahoma Academy of Science, of which I am very justifiably proud to be the president. It's a wonderful group of people. What does this gavel represent? This gavel represents some of the things that are best in the human mind and spirit. The spirit of inquiry in science to try to understand the natural world better. But many members of the Oklahoma Academy of Science are not just scientists, they're also science educators. They have a passion for helping their students and everybody else to understand what the natural world is like and how it operates and how we can take care of it. So there's so many good things about the human spirit that's represented by this gavel. The spirit of scientific inquiry, caring about the world, and caring about everybody understanding the natural world in order to be just and fair to everybody. Isn't that a wonderful thing? Now, this gavel has a very different story. There's nothing on this gavel to indicate what it might be. But I found a note on it that was written by my mother before she died, and it says, "Gavel used in Ku Klux Klan meetings in Arkansas." The old man, who was a Ku Klux Klan leader, died. His widow didn't know what to do with it, so he gave it to my mom, and my mom didn't know what to do with it, so she stuck it in a box with a note on it. Now, my father and mother were not members of the KKK, and I'm not going to read you the name of the widow of the man who was, because I don't want to get any trouble started. But I want us to consider what this represents. This represents some of the things that are worst about the human mind and spirit, because this represents the viewpoint that some people are superior than others, some races are superior than others, and some races have the right to persecute others. And there are far too many people, including here in Oklahoma where I now live, that hold this viewpoint. This is a very bad viewpoint. But there is some hope, because the scientific viewpoint, scientific inquiry, can start to tear down this evil viewpoint right here. What does scientific inquiry tell us about human races? Well, for one thing, it tells us that all human races diverged from a common ancestor between 1 and 200,000 years ago in Africa. That's not very long. That's not really long enough for a great amount of significant evolution to have occurred. Oh, a little bit. You can tell races apart by looking at them, but there are no significant and provable differences in intelligence, for example, among the races. They would almost have to be equally intelligent because human races have all evolved in different parts of the world, have survived equally well in the places where they evolved. And as Stephen Jay Gould said, human equality is a contingent fact of history. It is possible to imagine that some races might be superior to others, but the scientific evidence indicates that that is not true. And so these gavels represent the best and the worst of the human spirit. That scientific inquiry can help us to understand not only how the world works and how we have to act to save it, but also it indicates human equality, which is the opposite of what is represented by this gavel. This is Charles Darwin. Tally ho, and amen.